And we're back.
Oh, excellent. You out there don't know this because it's not true, but I make it up right now. But Dave, in honor of the movie we're doing tonight, he counts us off to start us off because he's a broadcast professional, and he usually just gives us a 3, 2, and then we roll. But he did it in proper count style. 3, 2, Then he was silent, but he did the laugh. It was kind of weird, but I liked it. Hi, everybody. We're the Pretentious Movie Snobs.
We are, indeed, the Pretentious Movie Snobs, your reverse Oreo of cinematic pontification. The movie-related podcast with virtually no show prep, highbrow, low energy.
Oh, no, I read up on stuff for this. I'm all set.
Oh, good.
I made many notes.
You did? Okay, good. Yeah, I had a few bullet points, silver bullet points to go through.
Oh. Mixed it and matching your monster mythologies.
Yeah, that's very sharp.
Yeah, that's the thing these days. I'm Dave Smith, the microscopically successful screenwriter and self-published novelist and occasional tweeter. And there in the red shirt, we have Kimberly Blagrove with the big hat on, the Nappy Wanderer. Do you want me to say something else about you besides the Nappy Wanderer, or is there another? Can I call you something else too besides Kimme?
This time we'll leave it at that.
Okay, and we have the bearded man is Kent Conrad of ExplodedGoat.com and contributor to Cinema Sentries.
That's right. That's what I do. That is amongst the things I do.
He contributes to.
Hold on, my son of a bitch. I can't believe the frickin' GarageBand cut out. So.
Oh no.
But you have backup,
okay.
Right? Oh.
Yeah. No, I don't run backup, but. So I just did some claps, so Dave, you can throw this back into sync because you're clever like that, right?
Yeah, I think so. So
yeah, it did the goddamn disc record too slow thing again. I hate that shit. Anyhow, hi, we're set, we're fine.
All right, we're good. and
you are.
I think I did Kent already. I introduced Kent, or should I re-intro you, Kent?
Then I started to shout and move my hands around like I was upset.
We
all know who we are. Who are you, Dave? No, Dave did it himself first.
I went first.
We are the most organized podcast on the interweb.
Yeah, actually, this is one of our best months here. We've increased our listenership or our downloadership here. We're doing pretty good.
Doubled from 1 to 2.
Yeah.
So does that say that our audience is old and doesn't like new movies?
Or they're too tired to go out.
By the way, I never give out our phone number. We should give it out in case people want to call us and give us what for. I don't think I'll put it on the screen. That would take work.
Is anybody actually watching us live?
I don't think anyone's watching, but they can certainly listen and jot the number down. You know what it is? It's 562-666, coincidence, 2067. Once again, 562-666-2067. So drop us a voicemail. Maybe I'll hear it, and maybe I'll reference it on the show or play it even.
Wow.
So
I'll be honest, I didn't know we had a phone number. Thanks for sharing.
Yeah, it comes with the Google email, so why not use it?
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. So we are going to be talking about. If you listened last week, we're going to be talking about. It's continuing with our new. Format of It Came from Netflix.
Dun dun dun.
And this week, what came from Netflix? Well, Bram Stoker's Dracula came from Netflix. So we're going to talk about that. Does anybody want to say anything about something they might have watched this past week before we get into Bram Stoker's Dracula?
I forgot I watched a movie last week that I didn't mention, and it's so cool. I watched 2 because it was a long weekend. The Time Machine, 1960, with Rod Taylor. Classic. I'd never seen it before.
Morlocks and Eloy. Yeah.
What's that?
I said Morlocks and Eloy.
Yeah, exactly. So I watched that, and then I watched a horrible, horrible movie, Idiocracy, with Luke Wilson. Horrible, but it was very comedic. There were the first 15 minutes, and that's what someone had told me, is all you need to see. The rest is kind of, I can do without it, but I like the concept. Oh, I just heard a strange.
Did you say the first 15 or the first 50?
15, 10 to 15.
I would argue that the first 50 are essential. Then after that, that's Mike Judge, the creator of Beavis and Butthead, the creator of King of the Hill, and numerous failed TV shows recently. and I had a lot of fun with that movie up to about 45 minutes in, and then it kind of resolves.
Yeah, it's a very weak protagonist, and I think they're much more enamored of the concept, which is a really good concept, and they do.
It's a great concept.
Knock a few jokes out of the park with it, but bit of a, the protagonist is a little bit too passive. It never really figures out what he wants to do, and you don't either. But you watch it kind of play out, But I very fun. What's her name's in that one too?
Maya Rudolph.
Yeah, Maya Rudolph. She's very funny in that one. But I like that one as lots. It's coming true more and more too. It's a very prophetic film.
Well, that's what I liked about it. That was the only thing the thing I liked the most about it. I'm not going to say I hated it, but I felt it was like a lot of it. I felt like I was wasting my time, and not because of that whole theory. I thought that was genius, but it had obvious holes in it, and it wasn't meant to be anything serious. One thing I also love, which is why I don't really want to say I hate it, even though it was a horrible movie. I love Terry Crews. Anything that he is in, I'll watch because I think he's just so entertaining. So.
Is that the president?
Yeah, he's the president. I don't understand Dax Shepard still. I'm trying to get his appeal still. I don't know if I'll ever get that, but I love Terry Crews. I think Maya Rudolph is underused in this role. I mean, she's great usually, but
Speaking of Dax Shepard, I have a vendetta against him
because of Kristen Bell.
Yeah, she's mine.
You
damn
love
it!
Kristen Bell so much.
It just
irks
woman? Me. I'm irked. Veronica Mars should be mine.
I get it. Yeah, I agree.
Great TV show,
I think it's just a matter of time. Can't just you hang.
I'm working towards it. Oh yeah.
Yeah, in your room. I know. Yeah. In your home.
Maybe she'll show up in the waiting room at the doctor's office when you get your toe looked at someday, and you'll start a conversation.
Just this Tuesday.
I think she's pregnant with her second baby, so you keep those fingers crossed.
I can't break up families. Never mind.
Okay.
Yeah, you don't want to do that.
I can't do that.
Before I forget, Eli Wallach died June 24th. I did not realize that, so just wanted to give a mini shout out.
Eli Wallach. I do remember
the Jewish Mexican.
Forget. Yeah. But yeah, most famously played Tuco in The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. Correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Sergio Leone, great movie. He's a great character actor. I saw him one time at Cantor's, I think.
Nice.
Or did I just see a movie where he was in Cantor's?
You hang out.
You could have seen about 50% of the people who go to Cantor's look like Eli Wallach.
Yeah, that's true.
So true.
So Rodney Bingenheimer I saw once there, and Nicolas Cage, and then I think I saw Eli Wallach there one time. Anyway, Kent, what did you see? Or are you done, Kimmy? Do you have any more that you saw?
I'm done.
All the movies I watched were for work, but since they were all old, I can mention them. I saw The Jackal, the 1997 Bruce Willis, kind of inspired by The Day of the Jackal, a famous film from the 70s, except that everyone who worked on Day of the Jackal, they didn't. I don't think they sued them to get the name changed, but they kind of demanded it. And The Jackal, when I remember I saw it in theaters, I thought it was boring and terrible, with Richard Gere playing an IRA guy with his Irish brogue and all sorts of really stupid complications. And yeah, it's ghastly. The Jackal, ghastly.
Still ghastly after all these years.
Still ghastly after all these years, and I'm sure I saw some other things, but the worst way to see a movie is to work on it, because then you're not judging it fairly. I also saw the movie Cuffs with Christian Slater. 1992. I remember when I was a kid, I was maybe 13, 12 before that came out, and I was looking forward to that like nobody's business, and I can't remember why. But that's also a ghastly movie. It's not funny. It's a total waste of Bruce Boxleitner.
Oh, Bruce.
Who everybody loves.
No,
I always thought Bruce Boxleitner was a total waste of Bruce Boxleitner too.
I loved him.
He was in
Tron. Mrs. King.
He was in Tron, and Tron is wonderful.
It is a fun movie. He's good in that one.
Let's see.
He was Laura Ingalls' husband for a long time.
Who?
Melissa Gilbert. I don't know if they're still together or not.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
I don't know why I would try to hang on to that information, but somehow it slipped away. I'm glad you brought that up again.
I also saw for the second time Mallrats.
Oh.
God, that's not funny.
Never liked that one either.
Oh, that is this. Clerks, I remember being a really funny movie, and everything Kevin Smith has done since then has been like pulling teeth in reverse, pulling teeth from the back of your neck. It's just such a pain. He's such a terrible filmmaker.
Yeah, Chasing Amy, I thought was just extremely okay. Not even.
Okay. He grocery shops by me.
He's maybe is a decent dude, but
Which is it? The Ralphs you said?
Yeah, he grocery shops at our Ralphs. I think I saw him and his wife.
The one on Ventura.
Oh, Ventura, yeah, Studio.
That's the one. I used to see Bryan Cranston in there like every other time I would go in there, and I never said anything because I didn't watch Breaking Bad. But
What was this before? Well, Bryan Cranston was great in Malcolm in the Middle.
He was.
He was really funny there. He was the dentist on a couple episodes.
Seinfeld.
Or just one episode of Seinfeld, I think. But
no, I think he was a couple.
Okay, yeah, but he's
great character.
Everyone knows that he's a fine actor now from Breaking Bad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I've heard he's been on the Adam Carolla show a bunch of times, and they really kind of bonded because they're both buds. Kids from the Valley.
He seems nice.
Yeah, I like Bryan Cranston. Mallrats, what I was going to say. The thing is, I work on a lot of really low budget stuff. A lot of zero budget sort of guys with camcorders, and the first couple scenes from Mallrats looked like that. They were so amateurishly put together that I was kind of astounded because that was his major studio debut.
Yeah.
Okay, that's all. Dave, did you see anything?
I don't think I watched anything other than Bram Stoker, but before I wanted to mention during the last show that I'd seen the first movie of the Planet of the Apes reboot here. Is it Rise of the Planet of the Apes?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Which I was pleasantly surprised by. It didn't do anything stupid at all. It was pretty good. The last act was a little ho-hummy with the big action sequence, yada, 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 but the part of Caesar is a really interesting character. He was very compelling. It was great to watch that unfold. They're going back to how did the apes take over? I don't know if they ever even did they explore that in the old movies, because they didn't do a good job of it. Those movies got successively. They've gotten progressively. They went progressively worse. They just gave them lower and lower budgets, and they got cheesier and schlockier and cheesier as they went. And finally, they're kind of just so bad they were good, sort of. And I kind of forgot them, but they were so bad they were good. But this one, I don't know. They are departing. I think they're just taking off from like the good movie, the Charlton Heston one, and they're kind of using that as their base. But pretty good. James Franco was even pretty good, and but Caesar was really really good. It was fun to watch. So I am looking forward to Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, which I hear is better than that one. But everyone seems to like those this new reboot.
Well,
so I'm trying to see that soon.
The only Planet of the Apes material I've ever seen is the Tim Burton remake, which I remember as the last movie where a trailer got me really excited. And to see, I was young. I was not yet in my 20s. It was when that came out. I was still impressionable. I was excited, and I saw that it was so terrible. It was like a double knife in my back. First, that I didn't know that I couldn't rely on Tim Burton to do decent work. Even though Mars Attacks, which I pretended to like because I thought I should, even though it's terrible, I really wanted to. And the Planet of the Apes, the trailer seemed great, but it just, and it was also I think the first time the Drudge Report ruined the movie for me. It had the finale posted on the Drudge Report one day.
Did it have a big siren over in red letters on that one?
I don't recall, but it did have. But the thing is that the ending just makes no sense with the Lincoln Memorial. But it's an 8.
Yeah.
Okay. Whatever.
It was stupid. It was really stupid.
Charlton Heston was in it. He was okay. And it had kind of a funny sort of meta thing where Charlton Heston is the ape who has the only gun.
That is funny.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just wanted to say that I'm going to try to see the new movie. Maybe we can talk about that on another show. So do you guys want to get into talking about Bram Stoker's Dracula?
Yes, please. Let's do it.
Kimmy picked this one. You want to go first on this one, Kimmy? Tell us what you thought.
Let's have our synopsizer. I like when Kevin synopsizes.
Yeah. Let's go back to the synopsizer.
Set in late Victorian England, Bram Stoker's Dracula is a story of some chick who the first time she sees a guy who's not her fiance goes totally gaga for him, and he's like totally a vampire, but she's completely in love with him because he's like foreign and stuff. And then she like just kind of she even tries to go to bed with him. It's really gross.
Yeah.
No, Bram Stoker's Dracula is Francis Ford Coppola's interpretation of the classic story written by Bram Stoker, and it is a fairly close with some major diversions from the original source material, but there's a lot of stuff that comes directly from the novel. So it's an attempt to make a very highly stylized early 90s sort of vampire story, and a lot of it works very well, and a lot of it works not at all.
Yeah.
I'm giving an opinion in my synopsis. I'm not supposed to do that, but still.
Yeah,
it stars Gary Oldman as Dracula. Anthony Hopkins as Van Helsing, the professor who's also a vampire hunter. 3 completely interchangeable characters as the suitors of one chick, and for some reason known only to the Lord Almighty, Keanu Reeves as the male lead, as Jonathan Harker. Oh, and Winona Ryder looking really cute.
And let's not forget Tom Waits as Renfield.
Tom Waits as Renfield in a character that makes absolutely no sense, makes no difference, could be completely cut out, but is one of the best things in the movie too.
Oh, it's so true.
Okay, Kimmy, so you picked this, so tell us what led you to pick this, and what did you think watching it again?
Yeah, it was really been so long since I'd seen it, and I said, I would be curious to see if it really was a good movie or not, because I couldn't recall if I'd liked it or not. And you've touched upon a lot of the points that I had. I couldn't say I really liked it, and I couldn't say I disliked it as well. And for some of the reasons that you said, it is highly stylized. Francis Ford Coppola, he's a skilled, director visually. He can create some beautiful images, but it's just really pointless with this movie. And for me, this movie just seems sort of campy with all the efforts that they put into it, and all the some of these scenes just. I know they're not doing it intentionally, which is why it almost is borderline so bad it's good, but it's not good enough to be a so bad it's good. For example, the scenes when which is very stylistic, but when Gary Oldman is, his shadow is doing things that he's not doing, and Keanu Reeves, his performance is laughable. And I think if you think realistically, if you were to see this strange man that you're working for, and his shadow appears, like 15 minutes before he does, you might want to think something's wrong here.
Well, Keanu Reeves does in the immortal line, "I have seen many strange things already."
Yeah. But you can't really call the Romanian police about it. He's kind of stuck there, so you just kind of roll with it, I guess. Yes, you'd have to call 9 1 1.
That makes me happy.
And there was one scene, just some of the scenes were very laughable. I mean, there was really nothing developed between a lot of the characters. I found there were a lot of plot holes. And again, I mean, a lot of the performances, I think Gary Oldman is trying to give his best for this, but even, I think in the beginning when he's all torn apart because his beloved has died, it's just laughable. There was a scene where that stood out when he's all gray now, Keanu Reeves, and he's sitting with Winona Ryder, and Sir Anthony Hopkins is asking him, when you were with those beast demon women, and copulating with them for however long, did you drink of their blood? And he says, no, I did not. Which, I mean, how he would know that, I don't know. And it was like, whew, that's great. And Winona Ryder, this virginal girl, is like, that's great. Like, and I'm thinking, your beloved has just been having an affair with, monster chicks, and you're relieved.
Well, he couldn't help it.
Blood. But
he was hypnotized by monsters.
I know.
He wasn't. If Van Helsing would have asked me that, I would have said, I think I drank all of their body fluids. I'm sure I was all over this bitches.
Yeah, I mean, how did he know?
Well, one of them was Monica Bellucci.
Yes.
Bellucci. How do you not drink her bathwater and whatever else she had going on?
Yeah, she was a beautiful woman, but I have to say again, I mean, those, like you said, the suitors, completely interchangeable. Even the whole use of Sadie Frost, the best friend's character, they could have made better use of that whole role, that whole character. Keanu's performance laughable. His accent was much worse than Winona Ryder's, but Winona Ryder's acting was awful. Sir Anthony, I'm sorry, he's done much better films than this. The special effects are beautiful, but again, it's just, you know, when you mix it with the poor plot and the poor acting, it just made it laughable for me. Tom Waits, again, his whole master, and half of the stuff we don't even like you said, his role is completely pointless. I think there was, there's so much hope for that character, and I think that one scene, why he was mad for it, the whole scene, he bit the doctor, and then he has one moment of clarity where he says to Winona Ryder, oh, I hope you go far, far away from here. And it just was so inconsistent. And there's one scene where Jonathan Harker, I guess that's Keanu Reeves' character, looks and sees Gary Oldman as the young Dracula. He's like, he's young again, and he gets all crazy. And I was like, how do you know that's him? And it just seemed, I was like, and the way that they did it was so overly dramatic that it was just hilarious. So, I mean, Gary Oldman couldn't save this movie for me. I think he tried the best that he could. The costume made me laugh. The dropping of the baby when they went after Sadie Frost and she dropped the baby, but then when you see the scene afterwards, he's like sitting up. It was, I know they didn't want to hurt anybody, but it was horribly done. And there's so many inconsistencies. I guess when he was upset when he found out they were going to get married, this man is powerful, Dracula. He causes winds and storms and controls people. He couldn't control the whole situation before she went and got married. He could have. I think if he could, create winds and oceans, and then there was that mad dash to get back to the castle so he could regain his strength. It just was all a mess. But yet, for some reason, I didn't absolutely hate it because there were many scenes that made me laugh. Keanu Reeves had a cut in his neck that went and disappeared and came back and disappeared on numerous occasions.
His gray hair would kind of be black and then gray again too a couple times. It was like, gray hair. Oh, it's back to, he's getting better. Oh no, it's gray again.
Exactly. So yeah, I didn't hate it absolutely, but I did not think it was a great film. That's it.
Yeah.
How about you, Mr. Smith?
Yeah, I'm not sure why I thought it was good. I think I remembered it wrong. I always thought I think that was the last Coppola movie I thought was good. I don't think it was great, but I don't know. Maybe I had a couple of pops before I went to the theater when I saw it, because I saw it opening night, I think with Ron. We probably went and had a piece of pie afterward and talked about it. But yeah, this time I was really. It's such a head scratcher plot. You're like, who the fuck is who? Yeah, and like you said, the interchangeable suitors. I like Bill Campbell. I like Carrie Ewells, and I like what's the other guy from Withnail and I forget his name. Richard E. Grant.
Richard E. Grant. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know why they're bothering to help anybody after a while. Like Lucy's already gone. She's dead, pretty much. They still have the hots. I don't know why they're bothering really to help anybody. Van Helsing's. Anthony Hopkins is like a suicide bomber's nuts. He's all over the place, but the plot is all over the place. But yeah, I still think it's got great effects. It's very fanciful. There's really some good dialogue. Gary Oldman's got some really great, there's some great lines in there. It's got a good look, and I like some of the storytelling elements too. They use a lot of interesting trickery too, and a lot of practical effects too. They just reverse the camera a lot to achieve interesting effects. I mean, even the part where Jonathan Harker steps into the Dracula's castle, it's reverse, but he steps forward. His coat is swinging weird. It's just all odd. And I used to like the way I think I still like the way he has to. The way I thought of it is, Dracula. He's trying to appear real, so he has to think about where his shadow is. So sometimes it gets away from him. It's doing what he's thinking instead of, hey, get back behind me. So things like that I like, and I like the look of it, like I said, and the storytelling was fair. A lot of artifice in there, and it looks good. It looks nice, and music is really cool. So I don't totally hate it, yeah, but I downgraded it from, I think I probably thought it used to be an 8 to like a 6 or something.
Mm-hmm.
So,
it's ambitious.
But, yeah, I was very confused, like, what the fuck? It seems like it's kind of a dual lead. If I was going to write this, I don't know how I'd attack it. Is it a dual lead, or
the main character changed like 3 or 4 times?
Yeah, sometimes it feels like I'm watching an anti-hero protagonist, like Dracula. It's Dracula's movie, but then it's like maybe it's more like Casablanca with Mina and Dracula as the 2 leads. No, it's not quite, and then it degenerates at the end. I'm like, I don't know what the fuck I'm supposed to be wanting to happen here.
Mm.
You know. So, yeah.
Well, I was expecting to come here tonight to tell you both why you were wrong and why this was a terrible movie with great parts, but now I almost feel like defending it now because there's a lot about this that I really, really like. I really like, and most of it's visual. I really love the armor that Dracula wears when he's fighting. I really, really like a lot of his monster makeup, especially his half bat, half man thing after he has Mina drink his blood, and that thing just looks fantastic and it's creepy. And then when he turns into rats, that's one of my favorite visual effects in any movie, and it was all practical. Francis Ford Coppola, he was told by people, you got to use computers for X, Y, Z. He said, so he fired his specs crew and just told his son, okay, get on this.
Exactly.
So things like, there's the scene where Dracula's first inside London, and you see this old sort of, it looks like old-timey footage. That was not a visual effect. That was just a hand-cranked camera. So that was in-camera stuff. There's so much stuff that's done in camera. And so a lot of things look so good, and there's so many things that are taken from the novel. Some of them for no good reason, like the blue flame. There's when John Harker first comes into the castle, there's this blue flame shooting up from the ground, and she looks and says, "Wow, that's weird." I reread a couple chapters of the novel last night because I do that sort of thing. And that's in there, but it's like a old Romanian thing. It's not, and it has nothing to do with Dracula being magic. It's like on a certain night in it's kind of like John Harker's getting into the world of Romanian superstition. And so he sees these blue flames, and that's where the blue flames erupt where there's hidden treasures throughout in places in Romania, and it's just kind of weird. And so some of the looks like that's pretty neat, but some of the stuff taken from the novel, like that's wrong-headed. I liked how concerned everything was with science, because the thing is, this is a period piece for us. It was a contemporary novel when it was written, and the novel's full of typewriters, of recording machines, of films. There's Harker says he has his pictures he took with his Kodak. So he had photographs of the houses that he was selling to Dracula. So it's very much very concerned with science, as it was contemporary with the novels. And this movie,
like the first steampunk novel, sort of.
Except it wasn't. It was high tech for the time. It was all the new stuff, the recording cylinders, that thing. But oh my God, every single scene goes to 11 and tries to push past it. And it's relentless. Sometimes it works. Sometimes it only works because there's naked ladies on screen.
Yeah, I gave all those scenes a pass. Yeah.
As you would.
But then there's things like the half wolf, half bat vampire humping Sadie Frost in the middle of the garden, and even me as a fan of the female form, and I looked. Oh, come on. That's just gratuitous.
Dracula is such a dick to her too. I mean, why does he pick on her? I mean,
well, here's the thing: the fact that you can ask that question goes to the heart of what I think is totally wrong with this movie, and that at the end, when Dracula gets his head cut off, you're a little sad, and that's not what's supposed to happen in a Dracula story. Dracula's a son of a bitch. Dracula's a monster.
Well, he's a sympathetic. He's feeling the pain of that lost love in this movie.
That's the problem. That's not in the book. That's made up.
But they wanted it to be romance.
Yeah, and I think that's stupid. The thing is, the Dracula and the Vampire is about it's about lust and rape and sex and invasion. He's going to England not to find some chick he's loved. He's going there because he thinks he can take over the biggest empire in the world because he's the most powerful creature in the world. He is in the novel.
This
he
is
is
Bram Stoker's Dracula, the real book.
In the novel, he's
That's true.
and actually, and this whole lost love thing that was first done with Jack Palance's Dracula, and so which also carried the title Bram Stoker's Dracula when it was put out because I think Universal owns just Dracula as a title. Anyway, so that sort of stuff is completely imported, not part of the novel, and I think the whole thing of making it a romance and making it a tragic figure is really at the heart of this movie not working because he's creepy as all get out.
Yeah, it's a little artificial.
But him being creepy as all get out, but us feeling kind of, but it's just because God was bad to him, and he really had it's endemic in a lot of modern fiction. But I don't like it. It's like saying that there's no real monsters. There's just people who've been mistreated, and that's bull.
They're treading that Clockwork Orange line, which is my textbook for like that. That one works for me, but we are watching a guy who's doing bad stuff, but we still like him, sort of, And
but
trying to play that with Dracula, but it's not. It wasn't quite. I didn't know what I wanted to happen at the end.
It doesn't work that well for Dracula, I think, because the stuff he does is really nasty. And the monsters he makes, they kill children and things like that.
He's angry with Mina, and he goes and basically he takes out on Lucy.
That doesn't even make sense. I mean, why couldn't he just pray and feed and all these other? Why did he have to attack her best friend? And that was the other thing.
Jerk.
She's like, "You killed my best friend, huh?"
Because he's a jerk. In the book, like the scene where Mina drinks his blood, he forces her face onto his. He cuts open his thing and just forces the blood into her.
Right.
He's mean.
But but after he does all of that, he's like, "No, I can't do this to you. You've already bitten her neck. She's already drank your blood. It's too late, dude."
Yeah, you see so the romance, the introducing that sort of romance makes the character inconsistent.
Yeah, it's a little artificially done. I agree with you on that. It
works for Frankenstein's monster because Frankenstein's monster is in a way a victim, because he has been created. He has to be. Dracula's a monster. He's a son of a monster.
Yeah. I don't even think that was clearly defined. I mean, I guess he was so upset, and so because of what happened to Mina in the beginning, or whatever his wife's name was at the time, so he kind of renounced God, and still the transformation into Dracula from the very beginning also is a little bit confusing for me. Like, he renounced God, and then the cross started bleeding, and I don't know how he actually turned into Dracula.
For me, that sort of thing is superfluous. They could have cut all that out. They shouldn't have had it. And he was just a monster who was so evil that he became a vampire, and instead he decides, I'm going to invade England. There's this fantastic novel, fantastic, probably strong, but it's called Anno Dracula, written by Kim Newman, who is a British film critic, which kind of it moves on from that point. It's the notion that Dracula won. And England's full of vampires, and it's a lot of fun. It's like Jack Seward, who is the doctor in this. He's actually in that novel. He's Jack the Ripper because he's going around in the night killing vampires.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's
I actually loved the scene where before he becomes Dracula, where he's killing everybody, and he gets them all on those spears, on the long spears, and that whole visual and the red background. I thought that was beautifully done.
That's another thing that doesn't come from the novel. The kind of the making it specifically that this is Vlad Tepes, Vlad the Impaler, which I think works. That was okay. That was cool because he was kind of an inspiration for Dracula, but he wasn't. He's not.
But he was just so angry. That's how he becomes a supernatural person. Like, there's no Satan involved or any demons or anything. Yeah, he's just so enamored of Wilhelmina or whatever. No, what's her name? Wilhelmina. Elisabetta, and then her name's the younger girl is Mina. So he just gets to be supernatural just because he was so pissed off, I guess.
Yeah, but I'm not buying that. They could have, they could have cut that out and it would have been okay. But I know they had to kind of build up some type of story. But it's a mess. But visually, I think we all agree, because it's such a beautiful movie visually.
It's so beautiful. It really is so stunning that it saves it. It saves it a little bit, and even though it's a casting,
it's good that it exists.
Yeah. Casting holocaust. Keanu, I don't think it's his fault so much. He's good, except you don't throw him in a period movie where he's British. No, poor guy. And Winona Ryder, same thing. It's pretty bad. Not always, though, but he'll get like, he'll say a sentence and like the last word will be like Valley Guy. When it's the whole thing, he got most of the words right, but then he falls off the rails right at the end.
But he tries.
It's like letting a guy go up in a plane that's got a bad engine for his first flight. It's just not fair.
Yeah.
And he doesn't know about it. You can't really blame him. He can't do that sort of thing, and it's just.
They could have. Yeah.
This is because I was young when this came out. I was 13. It came out on my birthday, actually. Wow.
Oh.
Wow, my 13th birthday. I didn't see it in the theater, though. I didn't see it until it was on video because I didn't get to go see R-rated movies in theaters.
Except for your parents were good parents.
Yeah, and they also didn't give a damn about Dracula, so there's no way in hell they. If it was something one of them might have been.
I remember going to the drive-in with my dad at the Highway 39 drive-in, which is there's a Walmart there now, and we just would walk around. I was allowed to we were like, this is when Animal House came out, so I was I don't know how old I was, probably 13, I don't know. Walking around and Cheech and Chong's Up in Smoke, but we just walked around to the other screens and we're just standing up in front at that swing set right in front of there used to be swing set like right in front of the screen. So we're watching all these boobs up there like, wow, this is awesome.
Oh man,
thanks, Dad.
That sounds like the life. It kind of amazes me that this was just 7 years before The Matrix.
Wow.
It's been, 22 years since this movie came out? Is my math right?
No way.
No, The Matrix is almost 20 years old now.
No,
Matrix
it isn't.
is 15 years old.
Matrix is 15.
Time is going by. But I have to say, he has redeemed himself in The Matrix. Like, I don't know what it is. Maybe he's just found the roles that have just enough emotion or lack thereof for him to to do the roles convincingly. Like with The Matrix, it's a pretty one-dimensional, like it's very cold, it's not an overly emotional character, so he does it very well. These ones like these period pieces, I agree, don't work for him, but there is one role I loved him in, which is as Something's Gotta Give with Diane Keaton and Jack Nicholson.
Yeah, he was a doctor in that one, right?
He's a doctor, and he had a small range of emotions, and I was rooting for him. I think that was one of his best performances.
That was 11 years ago.
Pardon me?
That was 11 years ago.
Oh, is this time flying by?
Kent is the time master tonight. He's
I want everyone to feel old. We're all gonna die.
He's very good at Parenthood as well with Steve Martin.
Yeah, that's
what year was that? How long ago was that, Kent?
What's that?
How old am I?
Oh, that was about 24.
24 years ago? Well, Keanu's aging.
Wait, I'm sorry, Dave. 25.
25 years.
I feel it because a lot of times Keanu Reeves isn't very good, but everything I've heard about him makes him seem like the nicest guy in the world.
Yeah.
Like he leaves $100 tips for coffee and.
He seems really sweet. It's because he lived in Canada for a while. I think that's the reason.
Well, he is Canadian, isn't he?
No, I think he was born like in Beirut or something, and then he went there when he was really, really young.
What's his ethnicity? He's got this
Hawaiian.
weird ethnicity.
I
thought he had Islander or
something else.
But
he tried.
He's half Hawaiian, half normal.
No, I don't know if it's normal.
I have to downgrade that one a little bit, and I guess I have to go back to saying that I think the last really good Coppola movie that I liked that he directed was Tucker. That's a good one, I think. But now I'm questioning. I'm going to have to go back and watch Tucker again.
Yeah?
Because this kind of threw me. I was like, why did I like this movie so much? I don't know.
The Rainmaker wasn't terrible.
It wasn't terrible.
Lost it. But he's stopped.
He's a lost boy, and he's probably better off not directing anymore. He hasn't really directed anything in a long time. And I have a message from Dracula to Coppola, and that is, you should only make Vine.
I missed that.
I like that.
Thanks for
That's good. That was pretty good, Dave.
You should only make what? Vine?
You should only make Vine.
Okay.
Yeah, instead of movies. Yeah, come on.
Well,
he's good at making wine.
I didn't. Oh, he does. He does.
That's why he makes
his Pinot Noir. Yeah, I like his Pinot Noir.
Well, I think we put our weight on that. Dracula, Bram Stoker's Dracula by Francis Ford Coppola can't take a lot of weight on it because it's it's a script from a blender. It's a huge mess, but often a very pretty mess.
Yeah.
And with almost 100% practical effects, so that makes it an impressive pretty mess, not a I wonder what software they used for that mess.
Yeah. Well, you can watch it still. And I'm gonna cut in. I did double check. Yeah, he was born in Beirut, Lebanon, but he grew up as a kid in Toronto, so he's still cool. Yeah.
Where's the Hawaiian part?
I think it's mom's wine.
That is
okay. All right. Mahalo.
Yeah.
Mahalo.
Well, next week we're still going to be in the early 90s. We're still going to be with Sir Anthony Hopkins, but in a much better regarded film. The surprise Oscar winner of the 91 Oscars, or is it 92? That's the year they did it, but 90 was Silence of the Lambs. Is what we're going to be talking about next week. We're going to see, hey, does it hold up? Now, what, 3,000 years later? No, just 22. Oh, my
22,000? Okay.
22,000 years later, yeah.
Great.
So based on Thomas Harris's novel, it's not the movie that introduced the world to Hannibal Lecter, but it is his most famous the most famous performance of him by Anthony Hopkins. So we will be talking about that.
All right.
We'll see you next week. Hopefully.
Yeah.
Thanks for downloading and
rock on.
Rock on. That's a terrible phrase to sign off with. Oh,
isn't it? Oh yeah, it's horrible. That's why I did it. I did it because I hate.
All right. Well. Go back and listen to that phone number because I don't have it up anymore. Give us a call and leave us an angry voicemail.
Especially if you love Dracula. Good night.
Yeah, especially if you love Bram Stoker's Dracula. Explain to us why we should love it. Thank you. Good night.
Good night, everyone.